Hello and welcome to match day 44 of the Championship. These are our predictions for this midweek. I'm Craig Savage. With me to the left of the screen is Daniel Cody, and down below is Charlie Bet. No doubt these will all swap because Cody's internet connection is useless. As we get on to this midweek fixtures, we start off with the Tuesday night. It's a big game at the top of the table. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Fulham. Oh, this is getting really squeaky bum time. I'm going to start with Charlie Bets in this one.
Oh man, I honestly don't. I can't call this anymore. I had a good start, but now
leave.
No, but what I mean is yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't know. They're two teams like Fulham are obviously picking up points, but West Brom, I don't know how they end up drawing with Blackburn. At the weekend, it's 1 minute they're brilliant, and the next minute they'll drop points. I honestly can't call, but I'm gonna have my faith in Slaven Bilic, despite them drawing with Blackburn at the weekend, and I'm gonna go for a very narrow 1-0 West Brom victory.
Cody.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go for another draw for West Brom. It seems to be their favourite result since coming back. I mean, Pereira was brilliant at the weekend. They had so many chances. They should have won the game. They should have had it wrapped up. I'm not going to talk about his diving exploits at times because I know that will wind people up. But he did have a couple of easy tumbles during the match. But regardless, I think he'll create them a goal. But Fulham look a decent side. So they've got back in form. They've got Mitrovic back. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm going to go for a West Brom win as well. To be honest, West Brom were battering Blackburn.
Yeah.
And then got complacent and conceded and then nearly lost it. To be honest, Fulham actually 3 wins in a row now for Fulham. When you think about Mitrovic was banned for 2 of them. So they've done well to catch up. Really, West Brom were really disappointed that they didn't actually get any free points at the weekend. But yeah, no, I think West Brom at home, I think they'll be all right, despite the away records for everyone in the Championship since the restart has been absolutely superb. So yeah, I'm going to go for West Brom 2, Fulham 1. I think this will be it for West Brom. I think that they'll get their promotion. Next up is Reading. They picked up a good win at Charlton at the weekend. They're playing Middlesbrough, who are disappointing at home. The Neil Warnock effect is not working at home, but it's really working away from them. Cody, start with you.
Well, that's where I've applied my logic, essentially. Reading have been sublime on the road. Middlesbrough have been sublime on the road. So back the team on the road. I think that's the simple way to do it. I don't think it will be a huge scoreline, but I think generally the home teams have struggled. So I'm going to back more away. 2-0 Middlesbrough.
Charlie.
I don't know. Reading have been slaying teams below them, haven't they? I don't know. I know what you're saying about the whole away thing, but Middlesbrough have been so up and down. Reading are playing with a bit of freedom. So with that in mind, despite what you just said, I'm actually going to go for a home win. And I'm going to say that Reading will beat Middlesbrough 2-0.
You've both gone for home and away wins of the same scoreline. I've gone for neither. I think this will be the one that I think will get a point, and he'll be more than happy to get a point. Reading, they're fine now. They've obviously the 6 points in the last 2 games were really 6 points in the last 3 games, should I say, were really helpful. But I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Big game at the bottom. Wigan Athletic, they are playing Hull. This is another tough one to call. I'll go first. This is a one. I think Hull have been absolutely terrible since the start of the year. They only picked up 1 win in 17. Lost at home to Millwall. Lost to Herbie Kane for injury. They didn't really look like scoring at the weekend against Millwall. Wigan, they'll be disappointed they only got a point against Barnsley, despite one of the worst tackles I've ever seen in the season from Anthony Robinson, which he killed a man. But Wigan, I think Wigan at home, I think they'll be up for this one. I really do. I think they're going to sneak a 1-0 win. Cody.
Well, I don't know what to predict based on the fact, obviously it's Sunday lunchtime, so we're before the 2 Sunday games, but more importantly in this instance, we're before finding out whether Anthony Robinson surely gets a ban for that tackle.
Well,
I don't care.
He won't, because the referee's already dealt with it by giving them the booking. So no.
But did they not change the law on that?
No.
Well, that's
if it was not seen, then they can retrospectively give it. But because the referee dealt with it at the time by giving them the booking stands.
Well, if that law hasn't changed in EFL as well, it needs to change because that was, it was bordering on GBH. It was a horrendous tackle. And then it was compounded by Danny Fox getting sent off for what arguably wasn't a red card in the second half. But Wigan short on confidence, but I think they'll bounce back at home. You saw how crucial it was last midweek, and they got the result. And Hull, as you say, a couple of times, like West Brom away, they looked to put up a fight, and then they were just shocking at home to Millwall. In the highlights, they looked really poor, and I have to go for Wigan to sneak it again. I'm going 1-0, the same as last midweek.
Charlie.
Yeah, no, I think I'm in agreement with a Wigan win. I think obviously Millwall are a decent side, so a whole, like I say, but then I just can't see them they leak so many goals. Yeah. I can't really see them doing much going forward. So I think, am I right? Depending on the results, this could put. I mean, Wigan are 9 points clear now, aren't they? And so this would put them on 12 potentially, obviously, on results. In fact, I suppose if they're playing Hull, it would be, wouldn't it? So it could be that magic 12 marker. So if you're going to target a game, I'd go for that one. So I'm going to go. I'm bordering on 3-0, but I think I might bottle it. 2-0 Wigan.
I think where you were going on about being the 12 points, but I think it depends on every other team down there.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's so ridiculously tight.
Yeah, of course.
Down at the bottom of the table.
Potentially, yeah. But still, it's another win. I think a point just had isn't the worst result. Then obviously if they can follow it up with 3 now. But 2-0 Wigan.
We just mentioned the bottom of the table. We're going to mention now the playoffs, because this is another big game in the playoff race. From 6 to 12, there's only a couple of points in it. Yeah. So this game is Cardiff City versus Derby. Daniel, can you start with you?
Oh dear. I mean, both teams were disappointed against good sides at the weekend. Obviously, Cardiff lost at Fulham. Derby lost at home to Brentford, who have been basically unstoppable since coming back, and now only 3 points off West Brom themselves. I mean, it's the hardest one to predict for me of the day. I don't know, mate. Why did you come to me first? I'm going to go 1-1 because I cannot find a reason to back either side over another. I have to go for a draw, 1-1. I'm sorry, it's a cop-out.
Charlie.
A week or so ago, I'd have probably gone for Cardiff. I think lost the last two. One of those against Blackburn. Leaked quite a few goals. But then Derby don't exactly, outside of that first game back after the lockdown, they haven't really set the world alight as such. But they are grinding out wins. I'm tempted to go for a draw, but I think I might sneak a Derby win here. I'm going to go 2-1 Derby. But I reckon it'll be like a bit of a sort of, what's the word? It wouldn't be one for the purist.
Okay. Well, I'm going to... this is actually a quite tight one because I don't expect massive things from this game either. But not in like a bit bad quality. I just think it'd be really tight. Yeah. To save my bacon from that one. So I think obviously Derby didn't really do well. I know Brentford are a very good side. We've said this every week. Cardiff, they would be disappointed. Obviously, they put up a fight against Fulham, but Fulham was just a better side. But at home, I'm going to go for Cardiff to win 2-1. And it'd be a tight, I think it'd be really tight. I think it'd be a late goal in it.
It's going to be like 4-0 to one team now.
Probably is. Probably is. Anyway, moving on. Luton Town versus QPR. Big game for Luton Town. QPR have been awful in this since the restart. They've done absolutely nothing. I think they're one of the worst formed teams in the Championship since the restart. I'm going to start with Charlie Betts on that one.
I'll be honest, on a quick side note, I think QPR are lucky that we're this late in the season. Because I think if there had been a few more games, they'd have been flirting massively with going down and been one of the favourites too, because they've been in woeful form. Still lacking a striker, letting, 3 against Sheffield Wednesday, who couldn't buy a goal before then. So it all points to a Luton win. The only thing that would go against Luton is that home sort of record that we've been talking, not home record, but we've mentioned it a few times. And Luton haven't necessarily been the best at home since this lockdown. They've been a lot better away. So with that in mind, I think Luton will win. I don't think it'll be a comfortable win. If it had been the other way around, if it had been at Loftus Road, maybe. But I'm going to go 1-0 Luton. But potential for 3-4-0 the way QPR are played.
Cody.
What Charlie mentions is so important, and obviously Luton haven't won at home since the restart in the 2 games. They got absolutely battered by Reading, who you could argue probably one of the few sides like QPR with not much to play for. The miss of the home crowd is so big for Luton. It's probably bigger than for any other team in the league, and I think that showed since we come back by the complete reversal in form. I don't want to predict a Luton win, partly through logic, partly through superstition, because I know it could go wrong. But QPR, they were so bad at the weekend. I don't know. 2-2. Luton can't defend at home. 2-2. And I'm just doing that partly of superstition on the hope that then Luton will go and breeze it, but 2-2.
Luton v QPR for me, I was really happy with the Luton result against Huddersfield. Obviously, the first half of Luton it was just not a good watch. Second half, they come out, it was excellent. They got the goal early, and the shape afterwards was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's fully deserved the 3 points out of Huddersfield, and Huddersfield fans will admit that themselves. They'll be buoyed by this. I think that this is the moment where I think they can really kick on. Obviously, looking at the run of fixtures Luton have, QPR, Hull, and Blackburn. I think 6 points out of the 9 would be. I think they'll do it, being more enough. I think this is where they're going to get the 3 points as well. QPR have been awful. We've all said that they've been awful. So Luton are going to win the same scoreline as they beat Huddersfield, 2-0.
Clean sheet at home.
Clean sheet. It's all about Sluga.
I hope you're right.
All about the Sluga. Anyway, moving on. Another big game on the race to the playoffs is Millwall versus Blackburn. I will start this one off. Millwall, very good victory at Hull. I would say it's easy anyway. The goal, you've seen it, was a worldie by Leonard. Blackburn. We said I've said this for a few games now. They've been so inconsistent. Lost at the beat Bristol City, and then they lose again, and then they beat Cardiff away, but then they get a point as well, and they lose to Wigan. I think this is another one that it's just not. They won't get 3 points either. Blackburn. I think Millwall at home have been okay, despite losing Middlesbrough. I think Millwall will win this one 2-1. Charlie.
I don't know. This is tough because Blackburn are probably the last of the teams that could potentially, only 3 games to go. I mean, they're 4 points off the playoffs. Cardiff are not in great form. I'm not saying they'll make it, but they've still got something to play for, Blackburn. Millwall are obviously, what are they? I've just lost that, sorry. Millwall are 2 points off as well. Sorry about that. So it's all to play for in this game. I think people are treating Blackburn as a bit of a dead rubber. And I'm not saying they've got a good chance, but there's a very slim chance they could still make that. I think there's a bit of pressure on Millwall and them being at home. I'm actually edging towards a Blackburn win, just for the simple reason that I think Millwall at home haven't necessarily been as good as they have been away. So I'm going to go Blackburn 2-1, and now thrust them up near the playoffs, and suddenly everyone will be talking about it again.
Cody.
As similar to Charlie, really, it's quite hard to back Millwall because away at Charlton they got a victory, but they weren't great. I mean, in midweek they were poor at home to Middlesbrough, and although they beat Hull and deserved to win that game, they relied on a screamer. They didn't create a lot of great chances. They relied on a brilliant goal. And yes, they could well have one of those every game to the end of the season, but you can't bank on that. Blackburn, a good win in midweek away against Cardiff, was it? 3-2 win?
Yeah.
And then at home to West Brom, a decent point. And to be fair, the last half an hour, they could have nicked that despite being outplayed beforehand. So the simple terms of the most recent form says you have to back Blackburn. And I'm like Charlie, I think 2-1.
Another big game for obvious reasons. Sheffield Wednesday, they're playing Huddersfield. Sheffield Wednesday, obviously not good at home. We've kind of established that now. Compared to their away form, they scored loads of goals away from home. I think there's joint most scored the most away from home, 36 with Brentford, which is really weird. Really, really weird. Huddersfield, disappointing. Obviously, we watched the game on Friday night. They really need to pick up points. Sheffield Wednesday at home are awful, but obviously Sheffield Wednesday, they might still get a points deduction, so they could still be dragged back into this relegation battle. So I think Huddersfield won't great. They're lacking confident goals. I'm going to go for 1-1 draw. Charlie.
Do you know what? If we'd have gone back before this weekend, I probably would have gone a Huddersfield win. However, I think there's a certain confidence boost that must come from, even though it's QPR, but still winning 3-0. That has to have some effect on you. I know what you're saying about the home form. And that loss to Luton must have hurt Huddersfield. I mean, really, of the games that they've got left, this is no disrespect, but they would have targeted that Luton one and thought, if we can get a win here, that's going to have hurt. That's going to have affected confidence, morale. As good as the managers are, it's a lot to come back from that. So actually, although they've had a horrendous home record, and I'm not just saying this because you're Luton fans, but I think it'll be a good result for you guys. And I think that Sheffield Wednesday will win 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, similar. I mean, the Cowley situation's really a bit weird there. It's almost starting to resemble Nathan Jones at Stoke. It really is, in terms of not being able to get the best out of the dressing room. I hope for their sake that they stay up, but not at the expense of Luton. And then there'll be a massive overhaul there in the summer if they do. But for this game, it's very hard to predict. Sheffield Wednesday poor at home. I did say that their game would be the one to watch at the weekend, despite derision from you two, and they were brilliant. So based on what I saw of Huddersfield and the fact they look so lacking in confidence, and that Luton result isn't going to help that, I have to go for a Sheffield Wednesday win, even at home. They've got something to play for now because they're back in the battle if they lose those 9 points. And that showed at the weekend. So 2-1 Sheffield Wednesday.
As we move on to Wednesday, it's Brentford, the best team in form in the Championship, won all 6 games since the restart. They are playing Preston. Charlie, start with you.
Can I just say that was an incredible segue, by the way, from Sheffield Wednesday to Wednesday. So well done. Bravo, you. I
missed the segue.
It's quite easy to just go Brentford win, but I think what they've shown is that there's a lot of versatility about them. They've been games where they've dominated, they've had to grind out wins, they've come from behind, they're in incredible form. Preston are not in great form. I suppose the only thing that would maybe go against them is there a bit more pressure on Brentford now? Because when this all kicked off, they were like 4th, and although a few points off it, now there's a bit of expectation they genuinely could catch Leeds and West Brom, especially with the way West Brom are playing. So I'm going to go for a Brentford win, but I don't think it'll be as convincing possibly as previous ones. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brentford win, but I think they might go behind again before then pulling it back. So 2-1 Brentford.
Cody?
I mean, Brentford have been unstoppable. A bit like we said in the League One episode yesterday with certain players. Saïd Barama is one of the best players in the Championship. And if they don't go up, there is no way he'll be there next year, unfortunately for Brentford. But I predicted them to go up, and I'm going to keep backing them. I didn't back them on early results because, I thought via the playoffs they'd go up, but they've got a real sniff for automatic promotion now, and I think they're going to go and do it. So I'm going to go for Brentford to get another win, a comfortable 2-0 for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Brentford, I watched a bit of the game against Derby yesterday, and Ben Rama's goal was just absolutely incredible.
Sumptuous.
It was going outside the post, and it curls in, hits side net. Yeah. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Not like his hair. His hair is awful. Anyway, no, Brentford have been absolutely fantastic, and it's not just about him, really. There's Ollie Watkins as well. He's just, obviously, he's scoring as well. He's a fantastic striker. If they don't go up, Brentford, they could see it being a massive overhaul. Not like sadly, but they're raking the money. Obviously, with them 2 players themselves, they'll be in the Premier League next year.
New stadium.
They've got stadium.
New stadium on the way to next season as well. So that if they don't get Premier League this season, I think that with the new stadium now, I think they can easily get to the Premier League. Preston, on the other hand, they got a good point against Nottingham Forest, coming from behind early on. They have been inconsistent since the restart. I do think Brentford will win this comfortably. I think they're going to win 3-0. Bristol City, managerless Bristol City, picked up 2 wins since Lee Johnson's got the sack. They are playing Stoke. Stoke need to pick up the points. Obviously, we were recording this before the Stoke game. Half an hour on with this recording for Stoke play. Cody, going to start with you.
It's a very difficult one. This Bristol City one again. The Holden effect is in full force, but I mean, it was against a poor Middlesbrough side at home, which I don't know how much you can judge on that. And I guess Bristol City, their 2 games have been against poorer sides. So can you read too much into those results?
Well, they are playing another team. They played Hull. They played Hull and Middlesbrough, and obviously playing Stoke, who are also down there as well.
But Stoke, after I predicted them to be at least resolute after a resounding win at Barnsley when they went to Leeds, and then they got absolutely battered and pretty much collapsed from 2 down. So I can't back Stoke as much as I'd like to. The Dean Holden effect will continue, and I'm gonna put my money on him getting the job in the summer as well. So Dean Holden to win 3-0.
Wow.
Well, there's a rumour going around. There was a rumour that John Terry was linked, and Chris Hughton's a favourite. So
another good appointment.
Chris Hughton,
Dean Holden,
Chris
if he's doing this every game, you've got to give him the chance.
Never know. I agree. I think Bristol City. I think they seem to. It seems to have worked now. Stoke, they were awful. That penalty they gave away against Leeds, just absolutely for all 3 of us defenders. That was absolutely criminal because it was going absolutely nowhere.
Given the magnitude of the game as well, they'd obviously survived already by that point. They had 1 cleared off the line, etc. just get to half time and then, but
it's not.
do that.
I would have let it go. I might have thrown something at him. Old school style. No, I'm joking. No, I think Bristol City will win this one. That'll be really buoyant. Nahki Wells, another great goal over the weekend. Nahki Wells. I think Bristol City will win this one 2-1. Charlie.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I feel a bit for us because we keep having to predict Stoke results but the way the fixtures are going, they're always playing before we do the recording, so we're like a week behind on how good they are.
It's them and Leeds.
Yeah, all the time. So no, I agree with you. I think Nahki Wells is, he's a very good player. Obviously, we saw that when he was at QPR as well. So I think it points towards a Bristol City win. I mean, it depends on today against Birmingham. If they get a result against Birmingham, you could argue a bit of confidence away from home against Bristol City. But I think I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. I think I'm going to go Bristol City 2-1. No, I bottled it. Bristol City.
Another big game for relegation threatened side. It's Birmingham City versus Charlton. This is going to be one that's just Birmingham not out of it. I just looking at the table. Birmingham are not out of it. Form has been awful. Obviously, Pep that's gone now. Obviously, we've been doing this before. Birmingham are playing again, and Charlton, on the other hand, we praised them for getting 2 victories a few weeks ago. However, that's the only 2 goals they've actually scored since the return. Obviously, we spoke about Lyle Taylor in a video you can check on the eye above. They can obviously his goals are just they're vital. They're absolutely vital, and him not playing is absolutely crucial to them. And I did have a 1-1 draw, but then I realised they've only scored 2 goals since the restart, and I'm gonna have to change my prediction now. I'm going to go for 1-0 Birmingham. Just. Charlie.
I mean, for me, Birmingham are sinking like a stone, aren't they, at the minute? I mean, they just can't seem to. The only thing that might go in their favour is now that Pep's out, is like we saw Bristol City, maybe a little bit of a resurgence. If you're a Charlton fan, it's probably the game you'd want next is Birmingham City, because if you're after a point or something like that. I think although my worry for Charlton is they capitulated when they have lost. When they've gone quite heavy. So if Birmingham get an early one, goodness knows what could happen. But I don't think they will, because I don't think they give a hoot at the minute. So I'm going to go Charlton, a ground out 1-0 win. Just on heart and resilience alone.
Cody?
Well, it's the hardest one to predict, isn't it? Birmingham haven't won in 5, Charlton haven't won in 4. Charlton can't score goals. Birmingham can't stop conceding goals. Where on earth do you go with this? I mean, a lot is going to depend on the result that we haven't seen yet, which is Stoke-Birmingham. But I can't see Charlton getting a result. Birmingham probably need 1 more point to be safe, realistically. And Charlton have been dragged right back into it. And I think that may affect them. And as a Luton fan, I'm probably going more with heart over head here, to be brutally honest. But I'm going to go for Birmingham and I'm going the complete opposite way to you two after Charlton not scoring. Birmingham to win 3-2. It's the game to watch.
Right, 2 more games to go. Nottingham Forest are playing Swansea. Swansea pushing for the playoffs. Forest they're pretty much there. Forest. Okay, start with you.
Forest, another point at the weekend. Probably not the greatest result. Of course, with Swansea, they're playing Leeds today, and a lot of that will shape the outcome of the next result. But we don't know what the score is yet, so we're making an assumption. Swansea at home against Luton weren't great, but against Leeds today, I think that could be a decent result for them. But Forest, probably less to play for because they're pretty much assured of their playoff place now, and Swansea are still in that hunt. Like we mentioned, it's so tight. But I don't think Swansea will get the win they need. A point for Swansea, a point for Nottingham Forest, 1-1, and we are as we were.
Charlie?
Yeah, I agree. I think if I was in charge at Forest now, you'd be thinking, right, we don't want to get injuries going into the playoffs. We're pretty much there. We will not rest the whole team, but you're going to start resting players. You have to. I think you can't be naive like that. Swansea, like you say, there's that chance of getting in the playoffs. Cardiff are not in great form, so I think it all points towards a Swansea win, and that's what I'm going to go for. But there will be goals, and I'm going to go bold here. 3-1 Swansea City.
No. Just no. No. To both of you, no. No. Forest, I think I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think obviously what you two alluded on. Forest are going to win 2-1. Simple as Forest are going to win 2-1.
I think they've got nothing to play for now. They're there.
But the thing is, if they get the 3 points, then they're there. Then they can start resting some of the players. But do it after the Swansea game. Confirm yourself first, and then.
But to be fair, I mean, finishing 5th is better than 4th now because no one wants home advantage, do they?
Forest have got Barnsley next as well. After that, that would be the one maybe that you would.
Yeah, exactly.
To rest. Exactly. Yeah, there you go. But still 3-1 Swansea.
The final game is a Yorkshire derby. It's Leeds United versus Barnsley. Oh God, Leeds United versus Barnsley. Charlie, can I start with you?
So it depends. Obviously results we don't know of Leeds today. I think even if Leeds were to get beat 3-0, I still think they'd have enough to beat. Like if they got beat today, I mean they still have enough to beat Barnsley. Because Barnsley, by the looks, unfortunately for them, are dead and buried, really, aren't they? So it all goes towards a Leeds win. I'm not going to say it's going to be a convincing one because I think Barnsley's still got stuff to play for. So I'm going to go. I think they'll let one in early on actually, and Barnsley will go 1-0 up with the faintest of hope of a win, but Leeds will win 2-1.
Cody.
All I'm going to say as a Luton fan is Leeds better win. That's all I'm going to say on this. I can't see any other result. Barnsley have started to struggle for goals. I mean, against Luton's leaky defence, they got 1 defensively at home. Against Wigan, they couldn't score even against 10 men the last 20 minutes. I can't predict Barnsley to win or get a goal. So I'm going to go for Leeds. I've been on an hour in between 2 and 3-0, but I'll stick with 2 because defensively they've not been terrible.
I will end it with, obviously, Barnsley got the worst running. They've got to play Leeds, they've got to play Forest, and they've got to play Brentford, I think it is.
That worries me.
Oh, God. The thing is, Barnsley needed to pick up 6 points from the last 2 games, obviously Wigan and Luton. They've only got 2, so it's not good enough for them. Leeds, I think this is an easy one for Leeds. It's not a game. I wouldn't say rest of my laurels, Leeds, just get the job done. I think if they can score 5 against Stoke, they can easily score 4 against Barnsley. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going to go for Leeds United 4, Barnsley 0. And that is our predictions for this midweek. Let us know in the comment section below what you believe. Are we stupid? Let us know your thoughts, your predictions. That's what we really want to know. Give us this video a like, share, and subscribe. And you can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.